All right. Thank you. Thank you. Love to see it. I'm really excited about all those control points and the ecosystem and where all that goes. This is going to be great. So my name is Bryce. I'm a strategic customer success manager here at AppFolio. This is my first company meeting, so I'm a little nervous, but thank you. I'm really excited to be up here today. We're going to go through a couple things. We're going to share a video. So last month, myself and the marketing team was able to go up to San Francisco. We did a customer story with To Be Living, who is here today, Vince and Brooks. So we're going to watch the video first, and then Vince is going to come up on stage, and we're going to do a couple questions. So without further ado.
There are very few experiences that are common to almost every single person on this planet, and renting an apartment happens to be one of those experiences. To Be Living was founded on a simple premise: there has to be a better way to manage properties. My name is Brooks Baskin. I'm the CEO of To Be Living Property Management. We are a 5,000 unit property management firm. We sit here in Silicon Valley, arguably the technology hub of the world. So we're keenly aware of some of the advancements in artificial intelligence. We have been very eager to be on the front lines of that with AppFolio, and have been early adopters of Realm X, which has helped us do two really important things. One is actually build our processes in AppFolio such that things can happen with triggers through automation. And two, get tasks done very easily by simply entering a message into a chat box. We have 100% of our properties running on AppFolio as our core software. One interesting dynamic we've noted with managing a large portfolio is the client highly values data and our ability to put performance reporting in front of them. AppFolio has been an invaluable part of our ability to capture that segment of the market and keep what can often be fairly demanding clients happy with real-time access to their data and performance. AppFolio is a tier above others in the market because it understands the needs of its customers and relentlessly focuses on listening to our feedback and improving its product. The operational efficiencies we've achieved by using AppFolio have been instrumental in our growth story. I have tremendous confidence that AppFolio is going to continue to grow and adapt to the changing market and be an amazing software partner for us.
That was awesome. Love that. What do you guys think? First view. I love it. Well, first I'd like to give a big shout out to the marketing team. That was awesome. Philippa, Ray, Taryn, Sammy, Jessica, the whole crew, and then of course PAX Productions. It was great to be there and do that on site. So join me in welcoming our first in-person client for the company meeting, the founder and CEO of To Be Living, and a wonderful person, Brooks Baskin.
Hey everyone, thank you for having me. You guys have an incredible office, by the way. Vince and I have serious office envy, and I think we want to be down here like at least once a month, probably working from your office.
Yeah, that's a great spot. Love the barista. Glad you guys got coffee. So we're going to do a couple basic questions. We'll start with something really simple here. So you guys have been on AppFolio for almost a decade, started in January of 2016 with 400 units. Shout out to John Hodge, who signed that contract way back when. We'd love to understand, how has AppFolio's platform supported your ability to grow at scale?
Wow, 400 units. That was a while ago. I mean, it's almost hard to capture in words how important AppFolio has been for our growth story. But even if I just think back to 5 years ago, and we've roughly grown 4 or 5 times since then. And I think a couple of things that are interesting. A couple of years ago, we took on our first, over 1,000 unit client, who was actually running on Yardi at the time, which we took that on and immediately moved them over to AppFolio.
Good call. Great call. Great call.
Yeah, I know. It's like throwing chum into the water. But it was the first time we had done that as a firm, both a big client and transitioning someone from a different software, and it went very smoothly, which actually was not something that I was anticipating. And so that was kind of an interesting point of just being able to work with AppFolio. That was a critical part of that venture going well. And then just sort of to contrast that, so that was about 1,200 units we took on at that point. And then last year in 2024, we added 1,500 units of new business. And instead of it being one client, it was approximately 30 clients. And that also went well. And I just think it really speaks to just sort of the strength of AppFolio's product, sort of ingrained in how we do business, that we're able to continue that pace of growth with a lot more clients, each of whom kind of want a different thing. And both of those things went very well. So to me, that's sort of right at the core, that AppFolio kind of sits alongside us as we're executing our own growth strategy.
That's great. Love to hear that. Onboarding is a challenge to do effectively and smoothly, and our teams do a really good job. So love to see that going. Where do you see growth for the future for you guys?
So, I mean, we're really bullish on just sort of the opportunity that exists in the property management space. And so we have our foot on the gas pedal. So right now we manage primarily multifamily, some single family, a little bit of commercial, a little bit of affordable, but we actually view that each one of those segments really is its own growing business line. And our plan, we talk about this at our firm, we want to have an and not an or mindset. And so it's challenging for the team, but our plan is to aggressively grow all of those product types into a much larger property management firm. And we have no plans to use anyone else besides AppFolio, so long as Bryce keeps bringing me down to Santa Barbara once a year.
Okay, deal. We got that. Well, love to hear that. We're excited to be a part of that journey. And, anything you need, you let us know. We'll work on it together. Next question, on the spirit of AI and what Daniel brought up in the report and the research that we've done. AI is moving very fast, kind of lightning speed, and it's sometimes hard to keep up with. You're in the heart of Silicon Valley. You're right near the center of a lot of great companies. So I'd love to understand, where do you feel AI provides the biggest opportunity for improving your business performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the topic of the day. I mean, it's really interesting. If you point into this, like a large percentage of our tenants that are moving in San Francisco, Oakland, on the peninsula are, work at AI companies. So it's sort of like that story of being in the center of the AI boom is kind of like our day-to-day business. So we view this, that AI is going to transform our business, and we really want to be on the front lines of that. And it's kind of interesting because, obviously AppFolio is a technology company. To Be Living, we're a service business, right? We happen to think we're, tech enabled and tech forward. But for us, like, AI is not, we don't view that as like a nice to have. It's like a need to have in order for our business to work. With the challenges that report brought up, rising costs, especially labor, like we need to find efficiencies in this business for us to be able to accomplish what we want. And so for us, we don't look at AppFolio as just like, call it the software we use that maybe has some AI tools. We actually look to you guys as like the thought leaders in AI, and that we're able to leverage what you guys are building, because that's frankly what you guys do well. What I do well is deal with impossible tenants. If there's a flood in a building, if all the insanity, rent's not get, that's what I'm good at. I'm not a technology person. So to me, it's so important what you guys are building, because it's actually what is going to allow us to be at the front lines of innovation, meaning it's not what we're doing. We're really relying on you guys to lead it, obviously with feedback from us. And our plan is to incorporate and use as many of those tools as we can as you guys build them.
Love that. Love that. Realm is a big part of AppFolio. There's a lot of AI in the system. There's going to be a lot more coming soon as well. So we're excited to see where that goes and help you along that journey.
Yeah, it's actually cool. Just on that topic, like we were talking about this internally, we do an all hands meeting, similar to this, not as many bells and whistles, but and actually one of the things we're planning on doing, and that I was going to talk to Bryce, is actually bringing in someone who's an expert in using AI tools, almost as like a little bit of a teaching ground for our team. You guys are obviously very tech forward. Property management company is very interesting, right? We have maintenance technicians and property managers and accountants, that you wouldn't necessarily describe those roles as being like, tech forward. And so it's almost like part of our mandate as a firm is not only how to incorporate AI into what we're doing in our process, but also to help our team be able to work more efficiently.
Love that. And that kind of segues into the next question, which is, how has AppFolio helped your staff focus on improving the resident and investor experience?
So when I started the company in 2011, and we were just managing one house, I really thought our differentiator would be to actually provide a good experience for tenants, which, I think it's gotten better. My experiences as a renter, which was in New York City, were pretty bad. And so it's like deep in our DNA as a firm that we really want to call it not only provide a great resident experience, but improve it along the way. Turns out it's hard to do that. And so the way I view that for AppFolio is two things. One is just call it the product itself without any human intervention is providing a good experience, i.e. without a bunch of, hassle and noise. And then for us as a property management firm, we're able to have some oxygen left in order for a few touch points with residents so that they almost feel like a hospitality touch. And it's hard. The average property manager has 27 different things that they do, call it the way the original role was envisioned, which is literally impossible. Like, for me, if I can do 3 things well, that's an accomplishment. And so AppFolio has really helped us reduce that number of things from 27 to 22 to 18. And it's that space that gives the team oxygen, even if it's 3 minutes a day, just to provide, a good resident experience. And it really helps and it really works. I actually have kind of a funny story I wanted to share. Do I have 2 seconds and a little bit of latitude here?
Let's go.
So you guys probably know this, but of all the things about property management, there's some craziness to the business. Like we just deal with stuff, right? We're in people's lives, in their units, with just any number of crazy ass things happening. And so early days, I actually found myself delivering a version of a resident experience that I wasn't anticipating. And so this was probably 2 years into the business. I think we managed 50 units and we had our first squatter. Okay. So call it a version of a resident. And happens to be someone who's not supposed to be there. They don't have a lease. They don't pay rent, but bear with me. Okay. So, I'm pretty fired up. I call the police. We have a person in our building that's trespassing. We got to go in. I'm pretty amped up. This is like my first, call it squatter experience. So, and this will connect back to AppFolio, I promise.
Love it.
And so I arrive to the building. I have 2 police officers behind me. We think there's a squatter in the back of the building. And so I'm ready to go. The police officers, they pull their guns out. And I got, property manager, I got my set of keys, I'm jingling them, trying to get them in. And all of this, so I push open the door and I go charging in. And, the police officer comes up behind me, taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey, buddy, you probably haven't done a lot of this, but the guys with the guns should probably go in first for this to be effective." So I was like, shit, missed that one. So we go in, clear the building. We end up finding a lovely woman who had set up shop in sort of the back unit in this upper area. And so, me along with the police officers, we trying to help her, kind of move along her way. She happened to be a bit on the entitled side and not thinking that we should remove her from this place. And so the police officers encourage her to leave. And, she has all her stuff there, right? She's got a couple of suitcases. And so I'm sitting there. I was like, "Hey, officer, she's got to move her stuff." And they're like, "I'm sorry, man, like she's out of here." So I actually found myself like a bellhop. I actually carried this woman's luggage out the door with her, that she was not particularly appreciative, and I had no help. And so I actually had to make 3 trips to get all of her stuff down. And so we finally ended up parting ways. The owner was ecstatic with me because who the hell else would go in with the police to get rid of a squatter? But to me, it was one of those things like there's the nice parts of providing a resident experience, but there's also some real craziness that exists in property management that like I actually needed the 2 hours of time that it took to go to the building, get her out, bellhop her stuff down and out. And the truth is like AppFolio helping us with the myriad tasks we have to do is part of what gives me the time and energy to be able to go deal with that kind of craziness, which is a part of the business.
That's a wild story.
There was a lot of expletives she said to me, by the way, even after I carried her luggage down, but that's okay. Part of the bit, part of the shake.
I can only imagine. But time savings is huge, and something that we focus on with your team a lot, trying to give them as much time back as possible. There's a lot of ways for us to do that. Timing-wise, am I good? Okay. Last two questions. So when it comes to supporting large operators like yourself, how does AppFolio compare to other solutions on the market?
So I truly believe that you guys are call it the best in breed, not only software, but just a great company to work with, which matters a lot to us. So I think what I would say is two things that we view as why you guys are better than others. One is just call it your speed of innovation. And I think this is even more important with what's happening with AI just because it's going fast. But we find often that you guys are pushing the envelope on innovating your product almost faster than we can call it handle incorporating into what we do, which is a great thing and we love. One of our core values is grow courageously, and I really think you guys do that great. The second thing is just you as a firm have customer-centered thinking and customer service like in your DNA. You can tell every single person I talk to has it. Frankly, it's something as a business owner that's in the customer service business that I view you guys as like a model for something that we can do. Obviously, Bryce has a lot to do with it. You guys really listen to our feedback, which is really important, and then you execute. And then to me, the only thing I would say on top of that is there's also sometimes you guys are so customer focused. Sometimes I just want you to solve the problem and actually have no input for me. And I think this is actually a little bit of AI. It's like, sorry, like, I don't know this shit, guys. Roll something out that's great and we will do it, But it really is like there's companies that say things and then there's companies that actually live and breathe them. And you guys really do an amazing job of taking care of us as customers and listening to our feedback.
Well, thank you. That's great to hear. So our last question, it's our favorite question. If you could wave a magic wand, what would you like to see from AppFolio or our product? This is your time. It's right now.
Oh, man. If I could wave a magic wand, we would have seamless, perfect property accounting using some version of AI. It is like a constant thorn in our side that's hard. So I would say number one would be, call it great property accounting and reporting that requires less, call it human cost. That's not that exciting. So I'd say, call it 1B would just be really see the kind of evolution of realm workflows that have more customization that really can solve the things happening through automation without having to click and having a person do it. That would be my 1A and 1B.
Okay, perfect. We'll work on it.